Okay, I'm not going to worry about it now. We're just, oh, hi, Judy. We're just going to move on in life here because we have no feedback. So everybody needs a block or book of some kind, like that thick, a couple of cushions, the usual stuff, and a chair like that. What we're going to do today is we're going to go through a series of balance exercises. And for some of them, we're going to do them first on a chair and then second without the chair. If you decide you don't want to do it without the chair, just repeat it with the chair. And they're kind of equally challenging, but doing it with the chair protects knees and back better than doing it without the chair. So let's start with giving ourselves, for those of you who haven't been here before, when we talk about balance, we usually think that it involves, kind of equilibrium, which it does, but it also involves a really strong, balanced feet are where we start with balance, a firm core, and figuring out arm positions that we can balance and protect ourselves in case we're falling. So we're going to start with feet today because we're going to do a lot of feet today, a lot of foot balancing today. So I want to give ourselves, and we did this a couple of days ago with Bernadette, but we're doing it again. So because it just feels good. So you can do this in a chair, or you can do it sitting on the ground. I'm going to demonstrate in a chair, but if you're sitting on the ground, just one leg can be straight and you can pick the other leg up and just bring it over your knee like this. So if you're on the ground, imagine this is ground. I can be either like this, or I can be in a cross-leg position. So this knee can be crossed and this foot can be over here, whichever I like. And here's my foot. And I'm going to actually give this foot I'm going to kind of loosen up the joints and the fascia and everything in this foot. And then I'm going to bring it alive. So I'm going to start with taking my right hand, my left foot is up, and I'm going to curl it around my toes, and I'm just going to pull those toes towards me. And that's actually a little bit painful when I pull the toes towards me because it's stretching places that aren't usually stretched. And then I'm going to push the toes away. That's not as painful for me. And I'm going to do this a couple more times, pulling it towards me, pushing it away. One more time, pulling it towards me, pushing it away. And then I'm going to lace my fingers between my toes. One of the things that happens to a lot of people as they get older, particularly women who have worn shoes that are not, the toes aren't properly fitting for them, because actually our toes are supposed to be kind of broad, but we've been narrowed down. So one of the things that happen is the toes get scrunched up together, and sometimes they even cross over each other. And this helps prevent that. So I'm going to lace my fingers between my toes here, just like that. And if you have trouble doing this, you should do it more often. And then I'm going to pull the toes toward me, push them away, pull them towards me, push them away, and one more towards me and away, and let go of that and give each toe its individual little massage. Maybe pull it a little, just waggle it about independently. And go through all 5 toes on this foot, maybe twist it a little. They're more, I think, now I could be making this up, but I think that half of the bones in the body, or close to half of the bones in the body, are in the toes. The toes have all these tiny little bones that all work to supporting us. And some of them never get any attention whatsoever. They just get abuse. So we're going to try and give all our little bones and fascia and all that good stuff some exercise today. Pull in that big toe. And then I'm going to take each side of the palm of my toes here, and I'm going to twist it a little. So I'm getting a twist in the sole of my foot. This shouldn't hurt. If it does, do it more. And then I'm going to take my toes and my heel, and I'm going to twist opposite directions. And I'm feeling this now in my toes and in my ankle. Okay. And then I'm going to make a fist, and I'm going to take this fist and I'm just going to drag it down the sole of my foot. And then I'm going to pound the sole of my foot. And then I'm going to slap my whole foot, waking it up, making it vibrant, calling that foot to attention. So there we go. And we're going to switch sides. So if you're in a chair, you're going to bring your right foot up on your left knee, same on the ground, but only your left leg's either extended, or I can't do that sitting in a chair, or it's coming under, you're in a cross-leg position. Okay, so we're going to pull the toes in towards us. And you know, this is actually kind of painful for me. I really feel a stretch across here, which means I need to do it more. Push away. Stretch it towards me. Push it away. One more, stretch it towards me. Push it away. Lace my fingers in there. And I have to kind of pull them apart to lace here. This foot's harder to do than the other because I have a bunion on the other that's driving my toe in. So I'm going to get them in there, and then I'm going to push them away, being laced, and pull them towards me. And push them away, and pull them towards me. One more away, and towards. Take the fingers out and massage each toe independently. I'm going to turn the air conditioning on in my room. You go ahead and keep doing the toes here. All five, give them lots of attention. They deserve it. They do such a good job for you every single day, keeping you balanced, keeping you walking. If you've ever had plantar fasciitis, you know how miserable that is. And this is a good exercise for that. And then when you're done with massaging each independent toe, take the sole side of the big toe and the little toe and just do that twist. Just a couple times, and maybe twist all the way down, just getting some mobility in the ankle, and then twist the ankle and the heel opposite directions. Just a couple of times. And then take your knuckles and rub down the sole of your foot, pound, and clap. Okay, look down at your feet. Look how vibrant they look. Waggle your toes a little. They feel looser, feel a little more flexible. Okay, we're going to come to standing. I need my notes. I don't know what I've done with them because I've been looking at recipes and I put them underneath. Hopefully I can find them fairly rapidly. Okay, here we go. Here's a recipe for almond flour crackers from Judy Lujan. I've made that so many times, Judy. I love that recipe. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to balance in tabletop, but we're going to do it on a chair the first time. So if we were on tabletop on the ground, we'd be on our knees and our hands. But this time, we're just going to be on our hands and with our feet on the floor. And we're going to do some cat-cows in this position. So we're going to round our back and look back at our knees. and drop our belly and lift up our tailbone and look at the sky. And do this 2 more times. Round. Arch. Round. Arch. And then come back to that nice flat back. And we're going to take our left leg out. Whoops, move my chair. Out and up. So our left leg is coming out of our hip and it's parallel to the ground as much as we can. And your toes can be pointed or your toes can be flexed, whichever you want. And we're going to turn this into a balance pose. So if you've got room to stick your arm straight ahead, you can do that. Or you can bring it out to the side. Your gaze, your neck is in line with your spine. So your gaze is soft, looking down. And then if you want to make this a little more challenging, you can bend that left knee and twist around and maybe grab your ankle or touch your toe, whatever you want. It's a little more balancing. I'm shaking a little more right here. And breathe. Deep, long inhalations and exhalations. You're breathing through closed lips. And then we're going to come back to the straight arm, straight leg, drop our hand, drop our leg, and waggle our tails, shaking it out. Okay, time for the other side. We're going to extend our right leg and then supporting ourselves just on our right hand, we're going to extend our left hand. And the goal here, which not everybody's going to achieve, and that's no big deal, is to make a nice straight line from the fingertips of the left hand to the toes of the right hand. And again, if you want to challenge yourself a little bit, you can bend the right knee and twist, add a little twist to that. I'm about to dump my chair over here, but I'm getting a little twist. If that makes you uncomfortable or too wobbly, just go back to the extension. If the extension is even wobbly, just put the arm down and keep the leg out. Breathe. Now, if you're still fully extended, drop your left hand, drop your right leg, and waggle your tail. So when we're in a full tabletop on the floor, we do a thing called threading the needle. And that is taking our right hand and threading it under our left arm. So I'm going to put my left hand on the back of my chair, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to take my left hand and I'm going to thread it through for a bit of a twist. Now I am not going to bring my head down on the chair, but I can feel this twist. And again, if I want to bring a leg up while I'm in the twist, I'm going to raise my left leg and breathe. I feel little bones moving around and creaking here. And I'm going to let my leg come down. Come back up to a chair table. Thread my left arm through the chair and bring my right leg up. Feeling a twist. Whoops. I'm less stable here than I am when I do this on the ground. Breathing. Drop the leg, undo the arm, stand up, Shake it out. Okay, now we're going to do that again. If it doesn't hurt your back, your knees, your twist, your spine, anything, let's do it on the mat. So we're going to come down to our hands and knees, and we're going to do cat-cow a couple of times. Inhaling the belly to the floor. Exhaling, tucking the tailbone, looking back at the knees. Doing this one more time. Inhale. Exhale. And back to table. Okay. We're going to extend the left leg, and I like to do it by just pushing my toe across the mat until my leg is straight, and then bringing it up. And one of my goals here is to try and keep my hips as even as I can. And then I'm going to extend my right arm. Again, imagining that I'm a straight line parallel to the floor from my fingertips to my toe tips. And again, here, if I want to be more challenging, I can include a twist, reaching my right hand toward my left foot and breathing. And then I'm going to drop my left knee, and I'm going to go right into that threading needle. So I'm going to take my right arm through my left, bringing my cheek to the floor here now, my right cheek. And that's the basic threading the needle. If I'd like to, if I want more of a challenge, I can raise my left arm. And if I want a real challenge, I like to do the leg first. I can raise my left leg and my left arm. This is a real balance challenge. And if you're going to do this, you need to think about engaging your abs. Breathe in deeply. Drop the left hand, the left knee, bring it back up to a table. Whew. Let's do one more cat-cow. Inhaling your tailbone up, your belly down. Exhale. Looking back at your knees. Rounding your back. Coming back to flat back, tabletop. And this time we're going to run our right foot out, picking the leg up, hip height, trying to keep both hips level. Picking the left arm up. Breathing. If you want the challenge of the twist, go into it. Carefully and gradually engaging your abs, keeping that breath steady. Then bring the left hand down, the right knee down. And we'll go into threading the needle on the other side, moving that left hand under the right elbow, coming down on the left forehead or cheek, wherever your head is comfortable. You can prop your head if you want. And then I'm going to slide my leg out and up. I'm adjusting my head when I do this, and if I can, I'm raising my right hand. You know what I find this happening here for me is I'm spreading the fingers on my left hand, and I'm putting a lot of my weight into my spread fingered left hand. I'm on the back of my left hand, and I'm really using that hand to balance. And I'm engaging my abs, and I'm breathing. Drop your right hand, your right knee, push yourself up, and push yourself back into whatever kind of a child's pose you want to be. Let your breathing come back to normal. This is a nice relaxation pose here. Okay, if you're still did that sitting on a chair, you're standing now, presumably. If you're not standing, come up to standing and move back towards your chair so that it's available. You may not need it all the time, but we need it available. And I know I'm going to need it a little later. I think I can do some of this without it, but I'm going to take it and turn it around so that I have the top available. And I'm going to come to a mountain pose. And just as a reminder, when you're in mountain pose,
Mountain Standard Time.
pardon?
Mountain Standard Time?
That's what we're on, some of us. When you're in mountain pose, remember your alignment is knees over ankles, hips over knees, shoulders over hips, head soft, just floating on top of your neck, and your arms are heavy, your shoulders are just very slightly back. And breathe. Maybe close your eyes, check your balance in mountain pose or Tadasana with your eyes closed. And we're going to do some foot exercises that are balance exercises. And I want to remind you how important your arms are during this. Now, some people, myself included, find that I balance best with my hands on my hips. I see other people arms out, and I see lots of people prayer position. I'm going to do this with my hands on my hips, but feel free to experiment. So I'm going to take my right foot in front of my left. My chair is not close enough to me. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up on my back toes, and then I'm going to gradually move back to where that leg is flat, and I'm feeling a real stretch in that leg, and I'm going to come up to my front heel. And then I'm going to start to move back and forth. Pick up the pace a little, because usually when we lose our balance, it's during movement. So we need to practice balance during movement. And if you feel too unsteady here to pick up the pace, you're actually better off going over to the chair so that you're secure and you're getting that foot exercise here, and you're getting that stretch in your calves and hamstrings. And then see if maybe you can pick up the pace. Or maybe you can let go of the chair if you're holding the chair. Maybe you need to find a Dirishi point, a point in the soft distance that you're focused on. Let's see if we can do 2 more of these on this side before we switch sides. Ending with both legs straight, both heels down, feeling that stretch both places, then bending your knees a little bit and bringing your right foot back, aligned with your left foot, and we're going to switch sides. So left foot straight, up on right heels, weight in left leg. Left toes up, weight in right leg, back, and forth, and back, and forth. I don't know about you, but I'm kind of wobbly. Make sure when your front foot comes down, when both feet come down, they're coming down solidly, that you're not over on the side of the foot. If you are, make sure to move it back so you're solidly on the sole of the foot. One more. Forward, back. Swing or walk that left foot back. Or shake it out. Okay. We are now going to do nothing. We're going to do left knee up, left knee back, straight back, and up, back, and up, and back. Maybe experiment with your hands. Maybe let one hand rest softly the back of the chair. We're going to do 3 more of these. Up, up, 2, up, 3, and back to Tadasana. Check it out. And remember to come back to mountain in between these poses because you want to start on a good solid base. So we're going to let the weight come in to our left leg, bring our right knee up, out, and back. Knee up, and out, and back. 3, out, back, 4, out, back. I'm picking up the pace a little, you don't have to. 5, out, back, 6, out, back, 7, out, back, 8, out, back, 9, out, back, back to Tadasana. Do anything you need to. My hips are a little strained from all that. So I even pound my buttocks and waggle my tail. Anything you need to. And we're going to do 1 more of these standing poses that I actually know I need the chair for, although I might be able to lift up a little bit from the chair after I'm in it for a few minutes. So I'm going to come up on both my toes. And then I'm going to raise my left knee. And breathe. My abs are engaged. If you need to hold on to the chair through the whole pose, feel free. This is quite a strain on the right leg. Right toes are really supporting you. And down. Whew. And I'm going to turn around and I'm going to do the opposite direction. So I'm going to come up on both my toes. And then my left leg is my standing leg. My right leg comes up. And I'm breathing. If you go down, if you fall off, come back up when you're ready. Even if you just have your right toes on the ground. That's something. 1 more deep breath. down, and shake it out. Well, that's a challenge. I'm looking forward to a couple more classes before I can do that way, without holding on. Okay, we're going to do, maybe we'll do this before we do. No, we're going to do a little bit of a flow before we do tree. So this flow can be done on the chair. We'll do it on the chair the first time, and can be done on the floor. So I'm going to turn the chair around, and we are going to do let me get this right. Warrior 3 is the pose where you're going to bring your arms up. Wait a minute. Start from the get-go. Bring our left leg back. Bend our right knee and twist our left foot a little bit out, like a 45-degree angle out. If your knee is ahead of your toes in your front leg, lengthen your stride. And then you're just going to bring both arms up and look up between your hands. And breathe. Little arch in your lower back. Then you're going to lower your arms, bring your hands to your hips. Move your left foot so it's aligned the same direction as your front foot. So both feet are facing the front of the mat. And you're going to take your left arm out. And again, we're doing this on the chair first. And you're going to push it out, 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 with a flat back as long as you can, hinging at the waist. And when you can no longer do that, just allow that hand to come to the chair. Reel your right hip back just a little bit. Bring your left hip towards the floor just a little bit. And if you can, take your right arm up into the air and look up. And breathe. Now we're going to turn this into a warrior 3 by undoing the twist. Our hands are back on the chair. We're going to bend our right knee a little bit. Maybe walk our hands a little further along the chair and bring up the back leg. Swing the back leg up to meet the front leg. Inhale your abdominals, soften your knees, raise yourself back up to standing mountain. And then we're going to take our right leg back into the warrior position. So the toes are about a 45-degree angle pointed in. Bend our left knee, bring our arms alongside our ears and look up between our hands, feeling that slight arch in our back. The whole sole of the right foot should be embedded into the ground. If you need to switch your foot position to be more comfortable, to get a better version of this pose, do so. Look down, make sure your left knee isn't over your left toes. If it is, move that foot out. Bring your hands to your hips. Straighten the front leg. Straighten the back foot so that it's facing the edge of the mat, same direction as the front foot. And we're going to do that, it's not warrior, it's triangle, it's reverse triangle. So I start by pushing my butt out and my right hand forward, hinging at the hips, flat back as long as I can do it to my edge, and then dropping my hand on the chair. And if I drop it kind of to the left of the chair, kind of in front of where my left foot is, I'm already getting a better twist. And I'm pushing my left hip back, my right hip down. I'm bringing my left arm up and looking at that arm. In an ideal, perfect world, my left fingers to my right fingers is a straight line. And I've got a lovely twist. And my feet are a little wobbly, but I'm fully, my foot is fully on the ground, the sole of my foot. I'm not on the inside edge, the outside edge, and I'm breathing, and my abs are engaged. I'm going to undo that twist. Bring the weight into my left leg, coming up on my right toes. Bring my hands back a little further on my chair. Weight into my hands and my left leg. Bring my right leg up. In an ideal world, it's parallel to the ground. In the real world, it's probably not. My abs are engaged. And I'm taking slow, deep breaths through my nose. My hips are as level as I can make it. Imagine you have spotlights on the front of your hips and they're both shining on the ground. Bend that left knee a little, tuck your tail a little, swing the right foot up to match the left foot. Bring your hands to your hips. Your knees are slightly bent. Engage your abs and back to standing. Important tip. If you have any lower back pain at all, bend your knees. Keep your knees bent. Even if it's like this bent, it saves your lower back. So I never lock my knees. If you're young and not necessarily young, but if you have no lower back pain and you want to lock your knees, feel free. So we're going to do exactly that on the mat. If you know you don't want to be on the mat on your hands and knees, well, you won't be on your hands and knees very much. Actually, won't be on the hands and knees at all on the mat. If you know you don't want to do it on the mat, if you like the chair perfectly well, do it on the chair. So we're going to do a little warm up this time. We're going to come to the front of the mat. Mountain pose. Inhale our arms up. Exhale. Sweep our arms down with that back flat, hinging at the hips as long as possible. Drop your hands on the mat or on the front of your legs somewhere. And then flatten your back again and look up again. And slide your hands down your calves, grabbing the back of your calves, and pull your shoulders so that your head is looking back at your knees. My knees are gently bent. Now I'm going to deeply bend them, drop my hands, swing my left foot back into that warrior position. And pressing into both feet, I'm going to bring myself up into warrior one. I'm going to bring my hands back to my hips, hop forward, bringing that left foot facing the same direction as the right foot, balancing the weight equally between the 2 feet. I'm going to keep my right hand on my right hip. And again, hinging from the hips with a flat back, I'm going to push my left arm out to the opposite wall for just as far as I can go till I reach my end. And then I'm going to drop that hand somewhere on the right side of the right leg. So the outside of the right leg. It can be thigh, the knee, the calf. Maybe I can even bring it to the ground. Today I'm not even going to try that. And then I'm going to take my right hip and push it back, and my left hip and push it forward. And if I can keep my balance and I'm happy with this twist, I'm going to raise my right arm and look up my hand. And breathe. My abs are engaged. My feet are a little wobbly, but they're firmly planted on the floor. I'm not on one edge or another. Then I'm going to drop both hands on the floor, bending my front knee really deeply to do this. And I'm going to move my right foot back to meet the left foot. I'm going to bring my hands kind of underneath my shoulders. And I'm going to do a variation of Warrior 3 by just bringing up my right foot, trying to keep those headlights pointing at the ground, my abdominals engaged. Want to try moving that left foot around a little since you've got the hand support. I'm coming up and down on my toes just for fun. Now I'm going to bring that right foot back down, walk my hands back in front of my feet. My knees are deeply bent. I'm going to engage my abs. Come back up to standing. And get ready to do the other side. So I'm coming back up to the front edge of the mat. I'm going to go through this a little faster on this side. Again, if you're doing it, if you prefer the chair, go back to the chair now. Whew, let your breath come back to normal. Check your balance here in mountain. Maybe roll your shoulders back a little. Maybe tuck your tail just the tiniest bit. Nice arch in your lower back. Sweep up, look back, look up for a little back bend. Exhale, sweep down, pushing your butt out, flat back for as long as you can. Your knees are soft. Drop your hands wherever they land.
I'm in yoga class. Can I call you back?
Then bring your hands to the front of your calves, flatten your back and look up. Bring your palms around to the back of your calves, pull your chest down. Bend your knees enough to get to your hands to the floor. And then sweep that right leg back into Warrior 1 position. Come back up to Warrior 1. Slight arch in your back as you look up at your hands. Left knee is bent as deeply as comfortable. The sole of the right foot is firmly planted on the mat. Your breath is slow and deep. Bring your hands down to your hips. Bring the weight into your front leg. Hop the back foot in. Straighten it out so it's facing the same direction as the front foot. Left hand remains on left hip. Right arm is pushing towards the opposite side of the room. Coming down with a flat back just as far as you can. So you're not starting the twist until you're at the edge of your flat back. Then you start the twist, bringing your right hand around the outside of your left leg or ankle. And if you want to complete the twist by raising your left arm and looking up at it, think of bringing your left hip back, pushing your right hip down, and you've got a lovely twist, and you may be a little wobbly through your feet, but you're firmly planted. Breath is slow and deep. Now let that right knee bend. Plant your hands. Come up on your back toes. Straighten your left foot, your left leg, and bring your right leg up. Headlights are pointing down. I feel a real tightness in my left buttock here, in my left hip area. Breath is slow and deep. My abs are engaged. You can come out whenever you want, or you can do two more breaths. And I'm going to bend my left knee, swing my right foot up, inhale my abs, and sweep my arms up with soft, soft knees. And back. Come out. And shake it out. Okay, let's do standing twists. So for a standing twist, I'm going to come back into mountain, check my balance here. And you can do this with your eyes open or your eyes closed. If it seems really easy with your eyes open, try your eyes closed. But it's, for me at least, much more challenging with my eyes closed. Whew. Come back to normal breath. Your alignment is solid. You're going to take your right ankle over your left ankle so your feet are crossed. The outside of both feet are facing each other. Then you're going to raise your arms to shoulder length, shoulder distance apart. You're going to try and keep your hands shoulder distance apart through the whole twist. And you're going to start off this twist moving to the left, and you're not moving from your hips. You're moving from above your waist. So this twist is going through your spine from your waist up. And if you want to, at the end of the twist, it's a little more challenging for balance. You can look over your left shoulder with eyes open or closed. Breathe. Then we're going to come back through center. Hands are still shoulder distance apart. Now we're going to twist towards the right again, not moving the hips, not going nearly as far here. And if you want to turn your head to look over your right shoulder, that's fine. And back to center. Drop your arms. Undo your legs. And if your eyes are closed, you might want to open them or shake it out. Maybe do hip swings right and left. Do not go beyond your limits. I'm very bad at that because I want to go as far as I can get. And I find out that after particularly fairly rapid yoga class, I woke up the next morning and I hurt. And I realized, wow, I didn't think it at the time because I know I can go that far. But should I go as far as I did 15 years ago? No, I've gone beyond my current limits. And you don't notice it at the time. So if you feel any strain at all, just back out a little. Now we're going to take our left foot over our right foot. Extend our arms. Close your eyes if you're doing that. Just twist to the right. Slowly does it. Headlights are shining ahead. Turn your head to the right if you want. Makes it balance slightly more challenging. And back through center. Keeping the hands shoulder distance apart. Moving over to the left side. Now, my limits are much shorter here than going the other way before I feel a twang in my back. So I'm not, even though I could go further, I'm not going to. I'm going to twist my head to the left. Back to center. Drop my arms. Undo my feet, and I'm going to just shake it out. I'm circling my hips here. One way and the other. I'm circling or tossing my shoulders around as I circle my hips. I'm just shaking it out everywhere. This is an easy pose to do, but it's a really strong pose. And we're going to come down to sitting. So come down to sitting, however you want to come. And we're going to do a few more stretches here. I like to sit, as you all know. These are stretches combined with a little bit of forward bend. So whenever I'm doing a forward bend, I like to sit on the edge of the cushion. There's my cushion. Middle of my mat here. I'm going to start with a wide leg forward bend. I'm on the edge of my cushion here, and I'm opening my legs as far as I comfortably can. Maybe taking them a little further. You can do this in a chair if you want. You're going to want your knees bent in the chair, but you can do this sitting on the edge of your chair with your knees bent. So if you're not happy doing this on the ground, do it in your chair. And I'm just going to twist my torso. So I'm facing over my right leg. And again, hinging from the hips, I'm going to walk my hands out, and I'm really engaging my abs now. Trying to keep my hips aligned, not going further than my edge. Your toes can be flexed or soft, whatever feels best. And I'm just going to lower myself, hinge myself down, and drop my head. So my nose is pointing towards my knee. I'm not going any further than feels really comfortable. And I'm going to take a couple of long, slow breaths here. And then I'm going to take my right hand on the inside of my left leg, and I'm just going to walk my way over to my left leg. Keeping both buttocks firmly on the ground. If this is hurting at all in my back or lower back, to try and get my nose towards my knee on my left leg, I bring my left leg in a little bit. So I can do the full twist there. And then I'm just going to bend my elbows a little and let my head drop a little for that stretch. Both buttocks are on the ground. I'm breathing deeply. Slowly, my abs are engaged, protecting my lower back. And I'm going to take my left hand back onto the inside of the left leg, and I'm going to walk my hands straight out and see if I can maybe walk them out a little further Drop my head and my shoulders. Maybe come down onto my forearms, or maybe not. That might be overdoing it for me today. Breathing. Abs are still engaged. Walk myself back up. And those of you who are regulars in this class have heard me say this many times. I'm going to say it for you guys who are here the first time. When I say abs engaged, I don't mean you just pull in your belly button. I mean you pull in and lift up your belly button. So the engagement is up in here, is just right around my navel and my sacrum. So see the difference, try it. Pull in your belly button, now pull that belly button up. And it makes you sit a little straighter, and it feels different, and it protects your lower back a lot more and gives you better stability. So let go of your abs. We're going to bring our legs together and do one more forward bend. Engage your abs. Walk yourself forward. You may not get as far with your abs engaged. That's fine. Go to your edge. Drop your head. Continue to breathe. Walk yourself back up. Your abs are still engaged. Let go of your abs. Let go of your legs. Shake them out. Lean back if you want. Windshield wiper your knees. Do whatever you want there. We're going to do one more pose before we go into relaxation and Shavasana. So this is really good for sciatica, for the psoas nerve muscle, and it is ankle over knee, and you can do it one of several ways, and I'm going to show you. So you're on your back. You can do it on a chair too. It's not as good on a chair. If you can do it on your back, try it on your back. But there's one of several ways. Chris is really tight in his hip, so he does it at stage 1. So you're going to lie on your back and bend your knees, heels in as close to your tailbone as you can, and then pick up your left foot and place the left ankle over the left knee, over the right knee, letting the left knee fall out, and you can stay right there. Or you can pick up your right foot, getting much more of a stretch back in that psoas muscle, sciatic nerve, or you can do that and grab behind the right thigh and pull that thigh in a little more, and maybe even push out the left knee with your elbow. Or you could straighten the leg and bring the toes back. Or there's one more option. You can be close to a table or a couch or a chair or something, and you can place the right foot on that. Excuse me. And bring the left ankle over the left knee. Whatever of these you want to do. You know, I don't usually engage my abs here because I'm not needing to support my lower back, and I'm not needing my balance. What I'm doing here, this is a stretch. So I let my abs go, but I keep the deep, slow breathing. And if you can roll up your tailbone a little even, that's a little more of a stretch. If that feels uncomfortable, don't do it. Press your tailbone towards the ground. Or maybe alternate to experiment with all these poses. See how they feel. I curl my tailbone. I feel a better stretch in my lower back, but not as much in my hip. So I'm just rolling softly back and forth between the two. Working out any tension in those deep, deep muscles. Those are big old bones and muscles. When they get tight, they get really tight. Okay, take 2 more slow breaths here. Feeling your belly expand on the inhalation, contract on the exhalation, and then drop your right foot if you've lifted it. Drop your left foot, and we're going to switch sides here. So bring your heels as close to your buttocks as it's comfortable. Your arms could be in any position you want. And cross your right ankle over your left knee. You could stay here, or you could pick up your left foot. You can grab the back of that leg if you want. You can straighten the leg if you want, or you could use a table or a chair as a prop. Do whatever you want. Get yourself comfortable. If you're not comfortable, make some kind of adjustment so that you become comfortable. You should feel a stretch. You should feel sensation. But you shouldn't feel pain. Breathe. Noticing the movement of your belly, your chest. If you did any rocking before, you might want to try that again. For some reason, it's just not as attractive to me on this side to rock. I just like in there with my tailbone pressed in. Take 3 more deep, slow breaths. And drop that left foot, drop the right foot. If you've scooched forward on your mat so you're closer to a chair or a table or something, scooch out so that if you're lying flat out, you're all your whole body's on your mat. We're not going to Shavasana yet, so your knees are going to remain bent. And bring your feet to make sure your spine is nice and straight. Pick your head up and look at your body on the mat. Make sure you're nice and straight. And then bend your knees again. Bring them out to the outside edges of the mat. Let your feet to the outside edges of your mat. And let your knees fall in and support each other. That's not comfortable for any reason. You want to put a block or a pillow between your knees, that's also fine. Or if you want your knees pointed straight up, that's also fine. Figure out what you're going to do with your hands. I often like them just alongside my body with the palms up, but sometimes I like to just place above my belly. Just feel every exhalation, let your belly relax just that little bit more, let it go of one little bit. Piece of tightness or stress, anxiety, just let it go. All the adrenaline reactions you've accumulated during the day or the week, month of the year. And you can stay right here for Shavasana if you want to, or you can extend your legs and open your arms for a more traditional Shavasana. But however you do Shavasana, see if you can maintain that softness, that tranquility. That freedom of thought, not worrying about the next moments or thinking of the last moments, just being very present to your body. Bring your attention back to your senses. Notice what you're hearing. Maybe it's birds, maybe it's traffic, maybe it's some of the equipment in your house, maybe it's somebody else in your house. Just notice your sense of hearing. And then keeping your eyes closed, start to move your fingers and your toes. Maybe gradually moving into your ankles and your wrists. And notice your sense of touch. Notice how that movement feels, how the air feels against your body. Maybe if you're drawing your knees into your chest, notice how that feels. Body part touching body part. Maybe your knees touching your clothes. And then as you roll over to come up, eyes are still closed. Notice how the mat feels, how the touch of the floor feels. You're going to come up to a sitting position, noticing how it feels all the way up. Coming up to whatever sitting position makes you comfortable, trying to keep your eyes closed throughout the process. And when you arrive at sitting, if your eyes have opened along the way, close them again and notice how it feels inside your body. Notice how your breath feels. Notice how the rise and fall of your heart or your belly feels. My hands are touching one another and it feels really warm right where my hands are touching. And then when you're ready, we'll bring our hands to our hearts in prayer And we'll chant an Om, starting with a deep inhalation. Namaste.